Hey tubers, just another video update here. So today is Monday, December 26th, day after Christmas. No, I did not get any new parts for this. Oops, sorry. Well, mostly because I have, I'd say 99% of everything I need for this. So I'm actually going through and I'm starting to adjust the bearings today. There's my torque wrench. Yeah, I know, it's on the garage floor. I'm not a professional here. Anyways, so I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about babbited bearings. And babbit is a special type of bearing material. It's different from a modern car. It's softer and it's a lot more forgiving. You know, like if you were to open up a car, let me get it to focus here, and your bearing looked like that, you'd probably be machining a crankshaft and putting brand new bearings in. These, you don't have to, because the crankshaft is a much harder material than these bearings are, and these bearings wear, and when they do, they can be adjusted. Now, they're shimmed. Excuse me. Got the burps. Anyways, they're shimmed. And the reason why they're shimmed, and didn't know if you noticed this or not, but these aren't like an insert type bearing. That material is built in to this rod cap here. It is built in, and it's same with the rods for the pistons. It's built into those. Now the mains are just a hair bit different. They are still babbited, but they're babbited insert type bearings. So you have your housing here, which houses them, and then your bearings are usually bronze, and that's what that bronze color is. And then the babbit is poured basically onto that bronze. It's attached to that bronze, and that's your bearing material. And they're shimmed. You can see right there, that's a thick shim, but there's a bunch of little itty bitty ones on either side here. And then you torque them down. I think I got these ones at 75 or 76 foot-pounds roughly. There's no definite way to tighten them down. There's just kind of a rough ballpark you get them into, because you don't want to stretch the threads on those bolts here, because you'll get false torque readings and all that. So I did mine about 76 foot-pounds, which is what I'm also going to do my rods at. Anyways, so as they wear, and you may start to hear a knock, or your oil pressure starts to go down or whatever, at least for your mains, because that's where your oil pressure is measured. What you do is, these are your shims for your rods. Super, super thin. I think they're 10 or 5 thousandths. I mean, they're super thin. So what you do is you hop into the crankcase here, you pull your rod caps off, which is that thing right there. You pull one off on each side, because you know they're, one on top and one on bottom, because there's, 2 bolt holes there. And then you tighten it back up, set it back at 75 foot-pounds, and then you turn the engine over by hand, and you feel for any, basically you feel for any rough spots or where it catches, because the way these are made, babbited bearings and these cranks normally wear in almost an egg shape, and so you'll have high and low spots in them, which is why whenever you're working on a tractor this old and you're not putting brand new bearings in, don't even bother using plastic gauge. I mean, plastic gauge is so inaccurate on these things, it's not even funny. And in my personal opinion, plastic gauge is not the best thing to use out there anyways. It's riddled with inaccuracies, and I don't trust it. So you do it by hand, which is what they would have done way back in the day. You pull them out. Basically, you keep pulling one out until you feel it resist. Like you feel it's hard to turn, or you're turning it and then you hit a high spot and it gets rough and then it lets go. Then it's a long process, but you pull the bearing back off, and you slide one more in, tighten it back up, cinch everything down, using the same torque readings you've been using. So in my case, 75 or 76 foot-pounds. I think it's at 76. and you do it again till it's nice and smooth all around, and you leave it. That's how you adjust these. And they're nice because these bearings are a lot more forgiving. You know, they're a little bit softer. You don't have to worry too much about your crank. Yeah, my crank is, you know, it's still smooth. You could probably use polished or something, but I'm not really looking to get out and do 10 hours of work a day with this thing. I'm just looking to play with it and all that. That's how you do them, and it's the exact same for the mains. So in my case, all I'm trying to do is just get my rod caps kind of loosely put on, so that way the pistons will move with it and my crank won't turn around and keep hitting my rods. And then I think I've got this one adjusted. So what I got to do is, after I get everything on, I'll turn it all the way around a couple times. I did put some oil. There's some Valvoline 30 weight, and I'm gonna feel it. And if that one feels good, then I'll come do this next one. Remembering how it felt with the other one, I'll come over here. I probably need to take these off because I haven't pulled one out on this side yet. Pull one out, put that cap back on, this shell, you know, because the bearing's right there. Tighten it back down, torque it, which I don't know exactly how I'm going to do because that housing is kind of interfering. And then see how it feels then. If it feels like it got really tight, then I'll probably need to go ahead and just add that other shim back in. Or what I'll do is, if it still feels a little loose, because well, there's some play in it. I don't know if you guys know that or not. This is your load bearing side because that's your transmission, basically your transmission input gear. It's called your first reduction gear. Anyways, this is your load bearing side, so this one is critical for getting right. And so I may pull two out, and whenever I pull two out, I'll feel it. If it still feels loose, I'll pull another one out, and you just keep pulling them out until they feel tight, and then you add one back in. And that's how these were meant to be done. Because a plastic gauge reading, you know, on this, say you put plastic gauge, I'm pretending this is your bearing surface. You know, if you put a piece of plastic gauge right here, it may mic out at something else. You could move it over, read it right here, and be a completely different reading. I don't trust plastic gauge on these, so you got to do it by hand. It is a slow process, which is why I'm out here today doing it. But once it's done, then everything can be put back together. I have my oil seal for that side soaking in some oil up there right now. I'll put my transmission cover back on and call it good, you know. I'm debating on taking my carburetor apart. Patrick Field has my magneto. He's putting a new spring, condenser and points in it. I'm probably, once I get everything cinched down back here, I'm going to turn to the valves and go ahead and give it a valve adjustment while I'm at it. Because it's often neglected. And yeah, so I mean, little by little, this thing's back up and running. Oh, I need to cut that exhaust pipe. Ugh. I think I'm going to use it for now. It's not the greatest pipe, but you know, I told you guys I'm kind of doing this on a budget here with baby on the way. So I'm gonna, that bolt you guys seen back over here needs cut off, and then I'm gonna cut it. It's welded to this big pipe right here. Cut that off, get some new bolts down there, put it in. So I'm really hoping to have the bulk of this put back together. Well, next week I might have another 3-day weekend. So around New Year's, and I'm hoping to go to town on this thing. I really am. I don't think I'll have my magneto back by then, but I'm hoping to have the bulk of this together. And I'm gonna do a no-no, and I hate it, but I don't have it. Well, never mind. I'm not even gonna mention it. So another thing I found is on tractors of this age that came on steel wheels, 5th and 6th is normally blocked off because it was unsafe to drive on steel wheels with that. If I remember correctly, this should be your 5th, 6th right here. It won't let me go into it. And these look like they've barely been used. So I go right here, you know, I'm in that gear, that didn't move. Go to get this gear, that didn't move. Go down to this gear, it still hasn't moved. That's how I know that that's my 5/6 gear. And it looks immaculate. It's clean, which didn't look, I know, it seems kind of dirty for an old tractor. My focus ain't working. There we go. But they've not been grinded. They're clean. All that in there, I know it's a little oily, but it's clean. That's how I know that my 5/6 gear, which is that little guy right there, is truly blocked off. And my tractor would have come on steel wheels, which doesn't surprise me for a 43. Still getting that front wheel repaired, not that one, but the one that's missing. Still putting her on rear steel for now, and I'm hoping she's going to be a good runner whenever I get it up and going. I'm probably going to use I'm either going to use Valvoline 30 weight, or we have some stuff at work. That's Kawasaki oil that's high in zinc and has a higher temperature rating because it's meant for air-cooled engines. I may try that because it's got the zinc in it. So, other than that, that's what I'm up to today. That's kind of my update. And I need to find the timing mark on my governor gear down there because, well, before long I'm going to get my governor remounted. It's kind of acting as my table right now. And if anyone knows, are these fan setups the ones that are notorious for going through radiators? Because if it is, I'm seeing, I don't know if that's dry grease or that's a rubber O-ring. I think it's rubber. But I think I would like to do something about that. You know, not that my radiator's the best, but I mean, if I can save $300 for having to buy a new core because, you know, I went ahead and rebuilt my fan, I'd like to. So these are just little things I'm noticing. I think it's going to be a really good tractor when it's done. It'll be a fun toy. So, anyways, guys, that's my update for now. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep you guys updated. I get out here when I can, but we've been busy with the holidays and everything. So, thanks for watching. I'll keep you guys posted on what's going on.